Yo, what is up everybody? It's your boy Seabass. He's back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I edited vocals for my upcoming single from my band Son of Erebus. Let's dive in. So I have the main vocal pulled up in the edit window in Studio One. We'll take a quick listen to it. But before I do, I want to explain that the first actual step you want to do in editing your vocals is to actually strip silence them. So as you guys can see here, there is gaps in between each vocal phrase. That is because I went through and manually removed any empty spaces that were not needed or any breaths that were also present that were not needed in the main vocal tracks, while leaving other areas alone, such as here in between. So if I was to expand this little phrase right here is a breath. So I took those out, and that's very important to do because if you start mixing your vocals with a bunch of EQ and compression, you're going to start hearing like a bunch of breaths, like or like a kind of sound when the compressor and EQs kick in, and that's going to totally tear apart your mix. So the first step is to go ahead and strip silence everything. Once you've done that, then we're going to go ahead and do the main method I choose to edit my vocals, and that is time stretching. And that is what we're going to use to make sure that our timing is really, really good on these screams. So we're going to go ahead and have this get analyzed. And then you got these blue lines now that show you where each phrase of the words start. So let's tackle that section where Eddie was a little late. Here we go. So what we're going to do is just grab it and move it over. Now, you're going to see it turn green and then turn red. In Studio One, what that means is the green is being compressed and red is being expanded. I just moved the red portion up to the grid, and let me take a listen to that now. So that is absolutely wrong, as you can hear. Let's try that again. Let's try moving it back a little bit. And that sounds a lot better from what we had before. Let's go ahead and undo all that so you guys can hear exactly what it sounded like, and then I'll redo it so you guys can hear what it sounds like after it's been edited. So here's before. A little rushed. Now here it is edited. Much, much better. Now you don't want to go too overboard with this. The vocal will degrade in quality by doing, stretching like this. So you want to be mindful of, words that are obvious offenders in terms of timing and take care of those immediately. And then kind of go through it a few times to go ahead and just make sure that you're not missing anything or fix minor details in minor words. But I don't recommend, quantizing your entire vocals. You do want to keep some of the humanity in the performance and just only really fixing the main offenders that are, messing with the feel and timing of the music. So let's listen to this section now. So that was actually pretty good. I didn't find any offending phrases or notes that I thought would need to be fixed. Okay, so I'm going to move on to a more complicated part here. Let's take a listen to how this part sounds. There's a lot of staccato style vocal lines here. So it can give us a better idea of what we need to do to fix some timing on here, because there is a bit of issues. So as you can hear, some of the words were a little bit behind, like the word malice here in the beginning phrase. It's a little bit dragged on. So let's analyze this phrasing and let's jump in here and see what we can do. So now that it sounds rushed, that tells me that it actually needs to be pushed back in the timeline. So about here, let's see how that sounds. That's a lot better. Okay, so then right here too, I will not be. That's a little bit off as well. So I think this needs to be pushed back like this. And that phrase also. That is much better. Let's see what we had before. See, this also right here is a word, but I'm not editing that because that word is also being automatically edited by this bend marker here. So you have to just be mindful. You don't want to put a bend marker on every word. If you see that it kind of just falls in by its own, that's quite all right as well. So I went ahead and edited the entirety of the main vocals and I bounced it to one single file. Let's take a listen to how that sounds really quick in the same spot that we were before. So we're going to go ahead and edit these side screams here. And the way we are going to accomplish that is by using Vocalign. If you guys aren't aware of what Vocalign is, it is a fantastic plugin. It allows you to cut down on your vocal editing very, very, very quickly. All you're going to do is activate it. And we have a guide track and we have a dub track. What that is the guide track is going to act as the guide for the algorithm. So it's going to analyze it and it's going to be like, okay, this is the place where we need to be. And then what you're going to do is then add the dub track so that the algorithm can work its magic and then use its time stretching algorithm to make the dub track adhere more to the guide track's timing. So here is the guide as I import, and here is the dub. So guide is blue, dub is orange, and we're going to just make sure that these transitions are going to line up right. So we're going to scoot these over. Looks like these are going to start a little early. Let's see about these here. Okay, I think we should be okay. We're going to hit process. And then in Studio One, I don't know how it is in other DAWs, but in Studio One, we have this inspector track that allows me to render the effect in its place. So let's take a look. And I don't like that. I like everything else it did, but don't like that it changed this. So we're going to go back to Vocalign here and fix that. Let's delete this. We're going to reanalyze it and kind of see if it fixes it after the reanalyze. We're going to leave that alone. All right, now let's try it one more time. There we go, much better. All right, let's do the same for the other side. Here's the dub track, and then we're gonna hit render. Looks, oh, something happened here. Let's expand this a little bit. Okay, so let's reanalyze it. All right, let's hit render, and it moved it over. Everything looks good. Let's take a listen.
It's right, it's right. I will bring its always to the ground.
That sounds perfect. And so I would just go through the entire song with the same process, editing the main vocal center tracks with time stretching and bend markers, and then using the side screams like the left and rights here and here with Vocalign, using the center track after it's been edited as the main guide track. I highly, highly suggest getting Vocalign. After I started using it, it saved me tons and tons of time in terms of editing my vocals. So I'm going to just quickly skip ahead and show you guys what each and every vocal track sounds like when it's edited inside the mix. All right, so I edited all of my vocal tracks. We are good to go. Let's take a quick listen to a couple sections to see how it sounds like.
Leave behind your humanity. Disconnect yourself, no one always know. I see no malice of this world. I will not be a servant for the Lord. It's right, it's right. I will bring it always to the ground. You're afraid. Step into the world of hatred. My effort you will right time. Your fellow side. You'll be no more, no more.
All in all, it sounds great. So that took me about an hour to 2 hours to do. Had I not had Vocalign, it would have taken me a lot longer because I would have to do the side screens manually. So that's a little crazy. I don't recommend doing that unless you have a bunch of time on your hands. Unfortunately, I don't. I have a full-time job as well as this. So I highly suggest getting Vocalign. I'll leave a link to it in the description below, to some Sweetwater links. But I really hope you guys got some value out of this video. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, check out the previous video I did where I mixed an entire death metal song using nothing but stock plugins. And I'd really appreciate if you guys liked, commented, and subscribed with your guys' favorite techniques to edit vocals. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you